Hey guys, welcome to my channel. So today's video I'm going to show you guys how I bake my face. So yeah, I like to bake my face when I really want to seal in my concealer and make sure it lasts all day with no creases or anything like that. Because I have very creasy under eyes. I don't know why, I have a lot of fine lines, so my concealer creases like crazy, like it creases a lot. So yeah, I find that baking really helps it. It helps really just lock everything in, and I'm going to show you guys how I do it. Yeah, so if you guys are interested to see how I bake my face, then please keep watching. By the way, if no one knows what I'm talking about, baking is basically when you put like a ton of translucent powder under your eyes to kind of lock in the concealer. So after you've done your concealer or highlight under your eyes, you kind of just pile on a whole heap of powder, and I like to use the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. Yeah, that's the one. So I've actually already gone ahead and primed and put foundation on my face. I use the Laura Mercier Foundation Primer and Anastasia Glow Up Foundation. So like I said, I just have foundation on my face right now. I haven't set it or anything like that. I'm just going to quickly correct a little bit of my dark circles and like pigmentation and stuff like that. So to correct and kind of conceal, I'm using the Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage. One is SC4, and I'm going to be taking the orangey shade over here. This doesn't really have anything to do with baking, it's kind of what I do before my concealer, which is what I bake. I'm just going to dab at that with a buffing brush. So then for highlight, I'm going to use the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. This one's actually the foundation one, but I think I mentioned this before. I usually use the concealer in Nude, but when I went to pick it up, they didn't have the concealer in Nude, they only had the foundation in Nude, so I figured it'd be the same thing, and it kind of is, so. So I'm just putting it under my eyes in the area that I want to be highlighted. Down the bridge of my nose and on my forehead area as well. I put some on my Cupid's bow. And when there's less product on the tip here, I kind of just lightly run it down the sides here. So to blend that all in, I'm going to be using the OIS kind of beauty blender sponge thing and just dabbing it in. So you can see already just using highlight to kind of carve that area out, it kind of hollows that bit in anyway. So yeah, that's kind of cool. So right now this under eye concealer isn't as bright as I want it to be for baking, so I'm going to go ahead and add some of the lighter shade from that Laura Mercier Secret Camouflage. So I'm just taking some of that with my finger and I'm going to put it like where I want a bit more extra highlight. Which is everywhere. Not so much on my forehead actually. And then again just going to dab at it with a sponge. And then whatever's left over on the sponge, I'm just going to dab it like underneath my cheekbone area. So my under eyes get really creasy really quickly, so I like to set it immediately with like a pressed powder. I know this isn't actually baking, but I prefer to set my concealer first with a pressed powder, specifically like a yellow one. So I mix the Anastasia banana shade with Mellow yellow, and I like that it's yellow, so it's kind of like a brightening kind of setting thing. So I just press a little bit of that on first, and I make sure to press it on to actually set it. I kind of do the baking last actually, so I'm gonna set my face a little with some translucent powder, like just really lightly. I'm gonna dust on some translucent powder. I'm using the Laura Mercier translucent powder, and I'm going to use that to bake as well, but I'm just going to lightly dust it all over my face. And I like doing this because to kind of set the foundation, because when I put bronzer and contour, I find that if I put it directly onto foundation, it doesn't blend that nicely. I mean, obviously, because you're trying to blend a powder onto a cream, which just doesn't work. So yeah, putting it, especially in this area here, helps me blend my bronzer and contour a lot nicer. So that's what I'm doing. So next I'm going to contour and bronze my face. I like doing this before the baking just because when I bake I can kind of crisp up all the lines to make sure the contour and the bronzer is a little bit more precise. So yeah, I just do the baking last. So I'm just taking Earth from Anastasia Beverly and I'm using it to contour. So I kind of just stripe on a line, and then when there's less product, I blend it upward. So I'm going to take some of that earth down the bridge of my nose as well. Not the bridge, down the like narrows of my nose. Then for bronzer, and to blend all of that out a bit more, I'm going to use the NYX Matte Bronzer in Deep Tan. I love this stuff. So I'm kind of putting that in this area here, but I'm also using it to kind of blend out the contour a bit more. And as you can see, the contour line isn't completely crisp, and like the bronzer as well, so that's why I like to go in and bake after, so I can kind of crisp up the line like that later. I know it's a baking video, but it's like taking a very long time to get to the baking, huh? Okay, so that's concealer, contour, bronzer, and now I'm finally going to bake. So like I said, to bake I'm going to use the Laura Mercier Translucent Powder. I'm actually going to just tip a little bit of that into the lid. Not a little bit, you're going to need quite a bit. I mean, it kind of sucks because you need so much and the stuff is so expensive, but I mean it really works and it really does make a difference compared to like other powders that I've used to bake. I'm just going to use the OIS sponge again that I used to blend out my under eye concealer. I'm going to use the flat side of it to kind of pile some of this powder on. So I'm taking quite a lot, and then I'm just going to press it on under my eyes. So what I like to do is press it on, and obviously because the sponge isn't like the perfect shape for over here, you're going to get a bit excess there. So I like to flip it over to the side with no powder and kind of just dab at it. And that immediately just picks up any excess product, which is cool. And yeah, I'm just going to pack on more, dab off the excess, like where I don't want it to be. Using the same sponge, I'm flipping it onto this side, and that's like a thinner side so I can get down the bridge of my nose. So I guess I'll just do a little bit there as well. Okay, so this is basically the reason why I like doing it after my contour and bronzer, so I can crisp this line up right here. So I've got a pile of powder on my sponge, and I'm just going to take it down here and join it to the corner of my lip. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I like to have the most powder packed on here. It doesn't really need to be that much there because I don't want it to be like bright, intense contour there. So yeah, that's kind of a bit more blended in. So yeah, that's pretty much all the steps I do to bake my face. I'm going to leave this on for about 5 to 10 minutes. I usually do my brows in that time, and yeah, after that I'll come back and show you guys how I dust it off. Alright, so now that it's been on my face for about 5 to 8 minutes, so yeah, that's just been set on my face for a few minutes, and I'm going to dust it off using the OIS fan brush. I really like using this one because it's really, really soft and really, really like flicky, so you can like nicely dust things off. That was a really good description. And also the shape, so you can kind of get in there and then flick. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do. Make sure to get like all the excess off because there's nothing worse than having like a big chunk of powder in like your inner corner. I mean, there probably is worse things, but yeah, so that's it all dusted off. You can just see that the concealer is set really, really nicely. It's quite noticeable for someone like me where I have like really, really bad under eye creasing. Baking just really helps with that, and it lasts a lot longer and doesn't crease at all for like the first few hours at least. So yeah, because the the powder kind of got all up in here for my bronzer, I'm just gonna lightly like make it look a bit more natural, but I'm gonna not touch that line at all. I want that to be really crisp. So yeah, I'm just gonna blend up here. So yeah, that's pretty much it for how I bake my face. Obviously it still looks kind of crazy because like I don't have my eye makeup or anything like that done. So I'm going to finish up the rest of my face like bronzer, not bronzer, I did bronzer, blush, eyeshadow and stuff like that, and I'll come back and show you guys the finished look. I'm back. So this is how it looks after all my makeup is done with like highlight and eyeshadow and stuff. I feel like it really comes together when you have everything on your face done. yeah, so this is how it looks with my face baked. I really notice a difference baking as compared to just regularly setting my concealer under my eyes. It really lasts all day and doesn't crease at all. So yeah, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video and it was helpful. Yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.